photographs of gay couples came from?
No, but tell me about them.
So on a sunny afternoon in the year 2000, Hugh Ninny and Neil Treadwell, a gay Texan couple, were browsing a local antique shop in Dallas. While they were looking around, they discovered a box of tiny photographs. And one of them was an old photograph of two men, with one man hugging the other from behind in a relaxed embrace. So Hugh and Neil were convinced that these men must have been in love. So they bought the photograph and they took it home, believing that it was the only one in the world. It wasn't until about 8 months later that they found the second photograph. But then the couple went to New York, and perusing the antique shops there, they found 10 more. And more, and more, and more, until they had hundreds of them. And they started to figure out some queer-coded signs that might indicate that the men in the picture were in love.
Tell me about them.
Obvious ones: the expression in their eyes, their body language. It might have been something as subtle as just a hand on the knee. But even more subtle than that, Hugh and Neil figured out in the 1800s posing under an umbrella was a signal that two men may be engaged in a loving relationship.
Oh my word, no way.
But at the time, the couples in these photographs knew that they'd be in danger if anyone found them. And the fact that they wanted to do it anyway implies that they had pride in those relationships. And they knew that their queerness was nothing to be ashamed of. In these images, they were leaving their mark on the world to show that they were here and that they were loved. And I love them.
I love them too.
And many of the photos were found in the form of a photo strip from like an automatic photo booth. And that was probably because the automatic photo booth served as a safe space for gay couples. They could act how they wanted without being worried about what the photographer saw or what the developer saw. When you deep it out, it's pretty cute, isn't it?
Very cute.
But there are also photos that are likely taken by friends and family, which also makes you think about how many people at the time must have actually accepted these relationships as loving relationships. Eventually, they collected 2,700 photographs. And they felt like the photographs belonged more to the world than they did to themselves. So they published them in a photo book called Loving. So there are photos in this from all over the world, in places where in modern times they'd likely find acceptance for their queerness, but also some where persecution is still rife. And that made me think there are still lovers all around the world taking their photograph in secret. And looking at these reminds me of how lucky some of us are to be free, and how we must protect our rights to love freely.
Colors and promises, how to be brave, how can I love when I'm afraid to fall, watching